I rise today to speak about the ongoing humanitarian crisis on our southern border, and I thank my colleagues, Senator Heinrich and Senator Mikulski, for their eloquent words in speaking to this issue. As a woman and as an immigrant, my heart breaks for these children. My mother fled Japan, where I was born, and she fled out of desperation to escape a terrible marriage. I came with her to this country as a young girl, and I remember how uncertain I was about what was in store for me. Although we came by boat in steerage, at least we traveled safely and together. We did not face the kind of danger as these children who are risking everything to be here are facing. Their journeys to our border are lined with smugglers and traffickers. Children are arriving injured and malnourished. Yet they continue to come, not just to the United States, but to other nearby countries, fleeing their countries out of desperation. These children don't care about the DREAM Act or the Senate's immigration reform bill. They are terrified of the violence, abuse, and death in their home countries. Young girls who represent about 40% of the children who arrived this year often face sexual assault and rape. Let me share some recent stories from young girls who are fleeing. One girl fled an area of El Salvador controlled by gangs. Her brother was killed for refusing to join a gang that tried to forcibly recruit him. She was raped by 2 men and became pregnant as a result. She fled El Salvador and was attacked on her journey to the United States. Another girl was kidnapped by a gang in Honduras that attempted to traffic her into prostitution. She escaped and reported the kidnapping to the police. The gang then abducted her again, raped her, and burned her with cigarettes. She fled to the United States and is seeking asylum. Yet another girl fled El Salvador when she was 8 years old. Gang members had kidnapped her 2 older sisters. The girl's mother did not want her 8-year-old daughter to suffer the same fate, so she arranged for her daughter to be brought to the United States. These are horrific stories. It's clear that something needs to be done. I have worked with my colleague, Senator Menendez, to introduce a comprehensive plan to address this issue. The plan aims to curtail trafficking and smuggling, contain the violence and discord in Central America, and ensure that these children have access to legal assistance, are in safe and humane conditions when they arrive here. This Friday, I will also take some of my colleagues to McAllen and San Antonio, Texas, to view facilities housing these children during the processing and removal process. We will see for ourselves the conditions that these children are in and meet with officials and leaders on the ground. This crisis clearly demonstrates that inaction is not an option with regard to these children. I urge my colleagues to support the supplemental funding needed for our country to meet their humanitarian needs. We have a responsibility to ensure that those in our custody are treated according to our values as a nation, and the President's request will allow our government to keep these commitments. I'd also urge my colleagues to reject the idea that the solution here is to speed up the deportation of these children back to the dangerous conditions they fled. Stripping away basic legal protections for children in these terrible situations will not solve this problem. And as Senator Heinrich so eloquently showed us, the conditions in their home countries are truly horrific. To really address this situation, we need to do more work with our partners in the region to reduce violence and improve opportunities in their home countries. We must provide resources so that we can safely, fairly, and timely process these children, including asylum determination as provided by law. We should all look to our conscience in seeking a path forward. Surely, We can do better than sending these children back to the horrific conditions that they are escaping. Out of sight is not out of mind. That is not what our country stands for. I strongly urge my colleagues to support the President's supplemental request, and I urge my colleagues to work together toward resolving the underlying causes of this crisis. And I yield back.